CEO Live Talks.
I am Dr. Swannie Jett, and I have a passion for public health for over 30 years. Now, I'm in a position to affect change, and these are the critical conversations about health in our community with the people who can help me make those changes. Good afternoon. Welcome to CEO Live Talks. I'm your host, Dr. Swannie Jett, and today I have a special friend, Mr. Mike Bucci. Welcome to the set, sir.
Swannie, I made it to the big time, my friend. Truly honored to be here. This has been in the works for a minute. I'm honored to be on the show.
Yeah, you've been in big time for a long time.
Big time, but this is the biggest time right here. I'm here with the doctor. Doctor's in the house today.
Doctor's in the house. So, as we customarily do, I want to talk a little bit about your background. Where did you grow up? Your family.
Okay.
Your brother, all that good stuff.
So again, thanks for having me on the show today. Our mutual friend, the amazing Swannie Jett.
Amazing.
Your lifetime plus one is the one, the conduit for her. Shout out to TJ. You're doing great things at the bank. I love you. You're the best. My background, born and raised in New Jersey, on the Jersey Shore. Before you ask, yes, that Jersey Shore.
Right.
The fist pump, that is
the
actual Jersey Shore. Born and raised there. Mom and dad were fantastic. I have two brothers. I have a twin brother and I have a younger brother, both in law enforcement back home. Typical Jersey Shore kind of guy, minus the beach and the sand and the waves and all that, because I didn't really like that. My girlfriend thinks that's crazy.
You was Jersey Shore before Jersey.
Oh, yeah. But I'm not a huge beach guy, although I'm going to start being one again for her. But born and raised there, started doing all the things at an early age, working with builders, working full-time jobs at the age of 15, like hustling and bustling all the time. So grew up there, raised there, and I moved here about 20 years ago.
Okay. You still get the accent?
Oh, I still got it. Usually when people come into the bank or I meet them, within the first 30 seconds, they know, I don't know what their idea of what a banking financial person is. Right. Usually not me. Right. And then they'll usually say, "You're not from here, are you? Right. Where are you from? New York? New Jersey?" That's the one.
That's the one.
So I don't really walk around with bada binging and hada hey and all that stuff, but forget about it. And are you for real? Comes out every now and then. So.
Well, you haven't said pop yet, so.
No, yeah. But yeah, I've been here for almost 20 years now.
Okay. What brought you here? I mean, because I'm from Chicago and I didn't have Louisville on the map.
Neither did I.
Okay.
So 20 years ago, and you know the background a little bit, so the viewers at home, we're going to tell them.
Right.
In 1992, the mean streets of Bricktown, New Jersey, I walked into the illustrious Iron Mike Sharp's professional wrestling school. So I started my professional wrestling journey in 1992, was on the independent scene for many years. I wrestled with Extreme Championship Wrestling, ECW, out of Philadelphia from 1996 until they went out of business in 2001. I was Nova when I was wrestling there, and then I was Hollywood Nova, part of the Blue World Order group, did all the things in ECW. They go out of business. I traveled the world for about a year, wrestling in Germany, Japan, Mexico, all the places. In 2001, I was on the radar for WWE, WWF back then. Mr. Jim Ross, and the team had saw me, wanted to sign me to a contract, so I got signed to WWE. I had to move down here to Louisville, Kentucky. Part of my agreement. There was, and still is today, Ohio Valley Wrestling down here.
It is.
OVW. Shout out to Al and the boys. So at that time, it was run by Jim Cornette and Danny Davis, and the whole crew was down here. Randy Orton, John Cena, Batista, all the guys are training down here. So I had to pack up, put all my stuff into my Buick Century that I had purchased for a whopping sum of $1,000 to relocate down here to Louisville, Kentucky. I had to finish up a commitment in Japan and Australia first. I remember speaking to Jim Cornette in downtown Tokyo. I called him downtown Tokyo, Roppongi. And I got on the telephone with Jimmy and called him and outlined everything I was going to do. Got back from there, moved in here. That was spring of 2002. Set up shop down here, my first contract that I signed, because I had to move down here to do OVW, which for those who don't know, that's kind of like AAA baseball. Think of it as that. Had to work on your character and your shtick and all that. So I did that for about a year and a half down here, and then I got called up to the big leagues, if you want to call it that. Monday Night Raw,
Monday Night Raw,
SmackDown, all of it.
Right.
So I was on the main circuit then, and
I remember.
Yeah, so with that comes all the video games, action figures. I got all the things, and wrestled with them for about 5 years. On and off for about 5 years. Left the ring full time in 2006. About 2007. Became a recruiter behind the scenes. Was helping run the developmental system. Then was out of the business entirely. Kind of hanging around. Didn't know what I was going to do next, but I knew I wanted to do something.
Right.
Got a background in business. I finished a business degree. Was always interested in that world, business and finance and whatnot. So I got into lending, and then next thing I know, a buddy of mine working is community banking. So I started with a smaller bank called Woodforest National Bank. They were here in Louisville, Kentucky, based out of Texas. And then after about 4 or 5 years of that, I had a lot of friends in the industry. So shout outs to my friend Jay Simpson and Danny Sullivan, who were at Fifth Third Bank. They brought me on board there. I've been there for almost 10 years.
Okay.
And I've been overseeing the financial center of Fifth Third downtown for about 6 years.
Now,
That's a heck of an answer for how did you get here from New Jersey, isn't it?
Yeah,
who
knew?
knew?
You packed it in about 10 minutes.
That's what I do. So
It looks like 5
I tend to get a little wordy, Swannie. My girlfriend will tell you that.
And you got it real fast.
Wait till I send you out a text message.
So but I gotta ask, what made you decide on wrestling? Because it's something you just don't wake up one day. Hey, I want to do bodybuilding.
Really, you don't?
Or, I want to play football. You had to.
I was a fan my whole life,
Okay.
and I loved it. The combination of athletics and performance. So my friend Rich was actually going to the wrestling school in New Jersey.
Okay.
And me and my brother would go and watch him and we were into it so much. And I was not an athletic guy or anything like that. I wasn't weight training or anything. I was just like a Mark fan kind of. So after watching Rich do this for a while, the trainer of the school, Mike, was asked us several times, hey, you're here all the time. Why don't you try it? So I got in the ring and bounced around a little bit, and I was like, I could do this.
Right.
I'll make this like a bowling. Some guys have bowling league and softball league because he ran a show every 2 weeks every month at the school. So I was like, this will be what I'll do.
Right.
I'll get a job in the real world, and I'll have fun with this.
Right.
And next thing I know, started on the small time circuit, and I started getting training and fitness more. But I loved it. I just fell in love with the performance of it. The way it boosted my confidence and gave me the ability to perform and connect with people, and a lot of those lessons I've learned in that, I still carry with me to this day.
Well, so how did you come up with the name? Because you went through several names. The last one was
Simon Dean in WB.
So how did you come up with your names?
Just there had never been a superhero in wrestling.
Right.
So when I was in ECW, and if you knew anything about ECW, that was a very hardcore, intense fan base out of Philadelphia. If you could win them over, you could succeed anywhere. Yes.
It's the same today.
Yes.
Even with the Philadelphia Eagles, I see them. They still.
Oh, let's not
chant
mention it.
after the
As a
Super Bowl.
Dallas Cowboy fan, don't mention the Philadelphia. Get this.
Yeah,
I'm done, Swannie. Yeah.
They drove me down to the Super Bowl.
Jeez.
And I'm not an Eagles fan or a Cowboys fan.
All right,
So
well.
imagine me being president.
But you are right. I get it. But I mean, with that, so I came up with the name Nova as a superhero. Then we're doing the BWO. It was Hollywood Nova. And then down here, I always had an idea to do something different. And the Simon Dean character was like a fitness guru, kind of like a Tony Little Jack LaLanne, but he was like a snake oil salesman because I was going to be a bad guy,
Right.
a heel. So shout out to Mark Gunn. I just threw that heel around for Mark. I love Mark Gunn. He knows all about the heels. But so I came up with Simon. Well, I came up with the original name I wanted was Sonny Slade.
Okay.
That was my whole pitch to the WWE.
Right.
And I was going to have Sonny Slade's super system of self-help and supplements. So, but they wanted to trademark the name. So they
Right.
came up with Simon Dean. So for Simon Says and all that, I had no problem with it. As long as the check was made out to Mike Bucci, I was good.
So they trademarked the name.
Simon Dean. I could actually buy that trademark now if I wanted to.
Okay.
It's actually available. I checked it. But
Go buy it.
somebody else can buy it. I'm good. I don't need my time is come and gone. I mentor a lot of guys now. I teach a financial literacy class at Ohio Valley Wrestling on Wednesday nights for the newer guys, just trying to help them out. But yeah, so I came up with the whole concept, all the pitch, all of it, very hands-on. They're all about feedback. I'm real big on being a driver and not a passenger. So as much as I can control my own fate, as much as I can, I always try to.
Right.
So yeah, that's how all of it happened.
So, because I remember, in '92, wrestling, WWE wasn't into play yet, but it was starting to come. Was there a lot of money there?
Oh, so 92 when I started, it was at a low point in the industry. It was coming out of the doldrums a little bit, so they were starting to rekindle a little bit. Full disclosure, my first contract with WWE was not a six-figure contract. It was close to it. Then I get on board. My second contract was more, you got a percentage of the merchandise, you got a percentage of the live events, because there's a lot of events they used to do that weren't on TV. Right. They were untelevised events, and I loved doing those. So you're wrestling 4 nights a week also. Okay. That's a big difference from today. But I did well. I did very well for a kid from Toms River, New Jersey, who had no connections and no ins, to wrestle for the biggest company in the world at that time. I thought was pretty cool. And then it set me up, honestly, for the rest of my life. Not just, the money was good, but the tools and the confidence and the ability and everything that gave me. Mm-hmm. And I tell a lot of athletes all the time, not just in wrestling, but other places, this is setting you up with a system of habits and methodology that you can literally use for anything else. You've worked with a lot of athletes from U of L, UK. We talk to people all over the city here, and coaching these young men and young women. They got a toolbox that they're putting tools into now that's going to help them out forever.
Tune in to CEO Live Talks with Dr. Swannie Jett every Saturday at noon on Wave 3. In this thought-provoking series, we bring you conversations with influential leaders, visionaries, and changemakers who are making a difference in their communities and beyond. Don't miss an episode. Mark your calendar for Saturdays at noon on Wave 3 to watch CEO Live Talks with Dr. Swannie Jett. Together, we can shape a brighter, healthier future for all.
My name is Dr. Stephanie Jacobs, and I am your Chief of Clinical Operations. I have been a nurse for 26 years. I have been in leadership for 18 years, and I absolutely love what I do. Park Duval is the employer of choice for me because I love the community, I love what we do, and I love the ability to be able to provide the amazing services that we do for our patients.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Park Duval. My name is Desmond Pritchard. I'm your Chief HR Officer here at Park Duval. I'm located normally 9 times out of 10 at the Wilson location. I'm beyond honored to support our community, to work with our community. There's a lot ahead of us. We have a lot we're ready to do, we're willing to do, and we can't wait to have you on board, to have you doing it with us.
My name is JT Douglas, and I am the Director of Development and Marketing here at Park Duval. I'm in charge of all of the fundraising efforts to help us do some of the great work we do here at Park Duval. The people that come to Park Duval, they're here for a reason. They're here to see us. They're coming to the health center because they don't feel good. And I think it's great work that our physicians and providers do for those patients by helping them.
Hello, I'm Dr. Swannie Jett. Please make sure you visit one of our 5 locations, not only in Louisville, but outside of Louisville and surrounding areas. Thank you. Well, something that you brought up, and it's always interesting. You came up with a name, mm-hmm. right? But also how to market. See, it's marketing and promotions, right? That's what makes you the brand. And a lot of people don't know really how to do that, but you learned that.
Through trial and error, Swannie.
Right.
My motto has always been, if you believe it, you can achieve it.
Right.
And the general public, to general fans, general people you talk to, whether it's sales role or interacting, whatever, they don't know what they don't know.
Right.
So you're selling yourself, you're selling your idea, you're selling your concept, you're selling your idea why you should be a part of this, whatever it may be, why they should do business with you. And if you can get people to believe you and trust you and like you, because you generally are coming across as authentic self and
right.
you're honest and you're straightforward and you want to help them, that's the key. What can you offer them way more than you can offer what they can offer you?
So the thing is, that means you have to sort of be authentic, and it's not a character.
No.
It's actually part of your personality.
Yes, and you can change it and modify for certain folks a different thing. Just so how do you adapt more to them?
Right.
I'm going to adapt more when I discuss this show with you today than I'm going to discuss when I go back and talk to my bankers this afternoon,
right.
or I interact with people in the tower, or customers that come into the branch, or whatever it may be, or people who I work at the different community events I go to. I mean, right. I stay pretty busy with a lot of that too, so we'll touch on that. But yeah, everybody. It's not one size does not fit all.
Okay. So let me ask you this question because, as a fan, I used to go take my kids. I think we saw John Cena recently.
Oh yeah.
At one point, I used to watch all the time, then I stopped, and I was like, it looks fake.
Yeah.
So how did you get over that hurdle to make some of it look real?
Well,
I know that's always...
it's not a defensive question at all. It's a lot more real than people think.
Right.
You know who's going to... The cat's out of the bag. You know who's going to win or lose. It's performance-based. But the ability to have people hate you or cheer you is a powerful tool. And the physicality is 10 times more than you would ever guess. Oh. I'm not going to give you this treat on CEO Live Talks right now, but if I would have chopped Swannie, or if I would have forearmed Swannie, and listen, when you guys see this show, if you want that and want to make the donations to some charities here, we can maybe make that happen.
You might.
But, you never know. But if I were to do that,
a lot of money,
you would probably sue me for assault. That's the intensity at which we were actually really grappling and striking each other. So the performance is to look like you're killing each other and not really killing each other. There's no art form in that. There's no respect in that because you can't do that 4 nights a week.
Right.
And if you get hurt on Friday night, and you have a big angle or you're marketed and people want to see you on Monday night and you can walk in your arms in a sling, you just ruined it for everybody else. Right. So that, to me, was the art form. And I had probably, if I included practice matches too, there's no way I haven't had probably 5,000 or 6,000 wrestling matches. I never seriously crippled anybody. A lot of injuries. Right. If I ran it down, my doctor, if I included all that stuff, instead of using Dr. Sparks, I probably should use Dr. Frankenstein because that's all the injuries maybe Dr. Kevorkian down the road because I was the Walking Dead at one point. But I've had hundreds of stitches and staples, broken ribs, broke all my fingers, broke my hand multiple times, bone chips in both elbows, several knee surgeries. I have disc damage in my neck, 12 concussions diagnosed. I have no idea how many undiagnosed. Teeth knocked out, cracked orbital rim. You name it, I've had it. I wouldn't have changed a thing. Right. No chance I would have changed a thing. I would have done it all over again.
And see, that's the part I want you to bring because a lot of people, as I went to the matches, watching on TV, I'm like, yeah, that right there wasn't fake. So I wonder how many injuries came out of that because there's a lot of physicality. And, unlike me playing football, I got a helmet on and pads. Yeah. You don't have that.
Nope.
Somebody hits you with a chair and I'm like,
or just a bumps and bruise. If I pulled either of you guys over to a wrestling ring, let's go to OVW one weekend when no one's around. I'll go in there and throw you guys in a wrestling ring, body slam you one time, and you're gonna say to yourself, "I'm good. That's enough."
I'm good. No, but body slam me. We're gonna box. Yeah, do some martial arts.
The 3 things that were the most real in pro wrestling, I tell people, the E's, the currencies, the injuries, and the memories. Right. Those are the 3 things I walked away with. So, for a whole, you are. Now, it's not as brutal today because the schedule is a heck of a lot less, which I love for the boys and the girls. The television is bigger than ever. Right. Big deal on Netflix right now. They're coming to Yum Center in May. They'll sell out for sure. The product's red hot. I'm really happy for everybody involved. AEW is doing great too. A lot local wrestling, they're selling out houses. It's performance. It's never going to go away because the fans embraced it. Right. If they didn't, then pro wrestling would go the way of roller derby. Right. Or the circus, or whatever it may be.
If you build a character, you actually sell yourself. People want to come see.
That's who people invest in. Right. Even in real life. Right. Swannie Jett's a character. This Swannie Jett right here is different from the one that's at home. Right. And the one with the kids, or a different event. So when you create characters and you become memorable, you're either memorable or you're forgetful. Right. Forgettable, rather. Forgettable or memorable. I'd rather be the first. Yeah. Right. But, it's hard. When you're a crew of 100 people, 1,000 people in the room, how do you stand out? What's the thing? Right. So you either capture their attention when you walk in the room, or people say, I don't know who that guy was.
To me, it's the style.
You're fly. So, I tried my best today. My girlfriend has helped put me together a little bit over the last year or so, but this right here, and I know you're the doctor of fashion right here. I can't wait to see what he pulls off for Derby.
Yeah, speaking of that, got to do a lot of shopping.
Yeah.
So, you've done a lot with financial literacy. Mm-hmm. How much do you go back and help the athletes now to not be broke, how to spend their money? Because that is a thing that's always, it kills NBA. I was just talking to a few people that played and no longer have money. It happens in football. But
Everybody.
now with wrestling,
It's not what you make; it's what you save.
right?
I learned that from Mick Foley.
Right.
And I learned a lot of the guys in the business I met over a 20-year career. And I'm going to say this as diplomatically as I can. There's a lot of guys who I really appreciated. I loved what I saw what them do in the ring. But when I saw what they do outside of it, I was like, I don't really want to go that route.
Right.
I never understood the concept of making $100 and spending 110.
Okay.
You know?
That makes sense.
So even to this day,
Right.
no matter what I make in the real world, so to speak, I live like I'm living check to check.
Right.
I look for that yellow sticker at the store. I'm thrifty. I am not cheap, but I am very frugal with my money to make sure I know where every penny goes.
I might dress well, but I go to the clearance rack.
Yeah, you know. When I wake up in the morning, I check under that bed to see if I lost any sleep. That's how cheap I can be at times. But it's just one of those things. I just try to, know. And I listen, for every money I don't spend on frugal stuff, that's where it's going to when I donate to the Dare to Care, the Salvation Army, I'm on their board. The Dream Factory, I'm on their board. To working with all these different groups. Last year, I logged 540 volunteer hours for the year, and I worked with 31 different groups in the city.
Wow.
So that, instead of splurging extra money on a night of drinking or crazy, I don't drink, but being out and about in town or whatever it may be, like I'd rather put it towards the important stuff.
How did you dodge wrestling and didn't drink?
Great question. I have never drank alcohol my entire life. Full disclosure, I may have sipped. I had a couple sips of like a wine cooler thing or a spritzer. Robin will look at me, hey, you want to try this, babe? And like whatever. But I don't smoke cigarettes. Never got into it. ECW was definitely a lifestyle. A lot of guys get into it. They all had their vices, did the thing. That's cool. Even driving the road, a lot of the boys like to have a beer every now and then. I just never got into it.
Okay.
It wasn't for me. It's cool that everybody else does or whatever they want to do. That's cool.
Right.
But to each his own.
Right.
I was always so tunnel visioned on the next town, the next show, the next match, the next workout, whatever it may be. It just wasn't into it.
My name is Dr. Swannie Jett, and I am your Chief of Clinical Operations. I have been a nurse for 26 years. I have been in leadership for 18 years, and I absolutely love what I do. Park Duval is the employer of choice for me because I love the community, I love what we do, and I love the ability to be able to provide the amazing services that we do for our patients.
Hello, my name is Sierra Clark, and I'm the Chronic Disease Manager at Park Duval Community Health Center. Ever since I started at Park Duval over 9 years ago, I have been committed to helping patients live healthier lifestyles. I am currently serving patients in the Chronic Care Management Program, or CCM program. My team and I help patients manage their chronic conditions such as obesity, high blood pressure, high cholesterol, and diabetes. In this CCM program, you will receive several benefits to help you manage your health. We offer monthly telephone calls to check in with your progress and to assist you with any concerns, assistance with scheduling your healthcare appointments, and assistance with filling your prescriptions in a timely and convenient manner. We also offer many resources to help you with the barriers you may face with eating healthy, being physically active, or monitoring your conditions at home. For more information, visit us online at pdchc.org or visit one of our health centers.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Park Duval. My name is Desmond Pritchard. I'm your Chief HR Officer here at Park Duval. I'm located normally 9 times out of 10 at the Wilson location. I'm beyond honored to support our community, to work with our community. There's a lot ahead of us. We have a lot we're ready to do, we're willing to do, and we can't wait to have you on board, to have you doing it with us.
Hello, I'm Dr. Swannie Jett. Please make sure you visit one of our 5 locations, not only in Louisville, but outside of Louisville and surrounding areas. Thank you. So let me ask you this, Mr. Bucci. Mm-hmm. If I was to run into your twin brother, born June 5th, right? Would he be just like you?
No. Donnie never really worked out a whole lot in his life.
I was just curious.
No, he's still married. He's married, has 2 daughters. He does his thing in Jersey. When he retired being a cop, he's in a garage door business. My little brother does a garage. That was our dad's business for years, 30 years, Don's Doors in New Jersey. My little brother Steve, he has legacy overhead doors. He does it. He's still he's a detective on the side. But yeah, they just never got into the world that I was in.
So what do they think? Because everybody's in the door business, and you're doing WWE.
They're back into that. I mean, it was cool. My dad my dad passed away about 12 years ago. I knew he knew what I did and kind of got a kick out of it, but I honestly didn't find out just how much. When he passed away, because his thing was he had his door business. He knew all the builders, all the contractors. Him and my mom loved going to Atlantic City to have dinner, and they played poker, and he liked his roulette and crap. He loved craps. But at his funeral, when so many people were coming there from the pit bosses and casino ball, I mean, he had probably, I'm not lying, at least 1,500 people that came to his funeral. Wow. There was a line out the door. Wow. And so many people said to me, oh, they only knew of me through my dad's stories at the poker table, at the crap table, and all that. I was like, oh, that's cool. I had no idea.
You had no idea.
No idea. And I knew they got a kid. My mom got to a certain point. As long as you don't die in the ring, I'm good. Right. Like, just, okay, that's cool. She could have cared less. She has all my action figures at her house. But it was a job at that point.
Right.
I'll tell you what, there was nothing more humbling than wrestling Madison Square Garden and then going home to visit for 2 days and the old man looking at the front lawn and being, it's getting kind of lawn out there. Why don't you go cut it? And here I am, the night before wrestling in the garden. And next morning I'm cutting their lawn.
You had thousands of fans.
There you go, Dad. Cool. Hey. I didn't care.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, we saw really early on, I guess that the work ethic thing came from him. He was working in factories for a lot of his life, 3M, DuPont, and we were a middle-class family in New Jersey, and then I saw him start his own door business, and he was hustling and did his own thing, and here I am kind of doing my own thing now.
What was the toughest match you had?
Oh, man, probably I wrestled an old partner, my Chris Chetty, in ECW. That was a loser leaves town match. Wrestled him. We both got busted open in that, bleeding all over the place. So that was a tough one. But as far as toughest, like mentally, it wasn't a match. If you go back on YouTube, we could probably put the clip on here. I did a segment with Stone Cold Steve Austin one night in the ring in Los Angeles. It was the day after WrestleMania. I happened to be out there talking some smack on the fans, and I made fun of people who drank beer. So old Steve's music hit, and he came out, and I did about a 10-minute segment with him on live television, and I didn't watch my back. I wound up getting the stunner at the end, but I was out there with my buddy Maven. We were doing a skit with him. But toughest as far as like mental, that was for me, because he's literally one of the biggest stars in the history of the business. He was awesome to deal with, and that was probably my proudest moment. But every match I had was tough. I mean, there was definitely ones where I was a fight for my life more than others, because the guys were maybe not as trained, and they were coming along, and they were nervous and whatnot. So you get... Most of the injuries occurred when you zigged instead of the other guy zagging.
Right.
And it was never intentional. You just got caught.
Right.
So wrestling in Japan was a little different.
I was going to say, how was wrestling in Japan?
You can't communicate as well. And over there, you do get tested a little bit more.
Okay.
So, they put a little extra vinegar on it, as I would call it.
Right.
And you're going to, okay, you got me with that one. Oh, that's cool. Come here, let me talk to you for a minute. Boom. And they learn real quick. But everybody over there speaks English just as much as Japanese. Right. And there's a way of communicating in the ring without talking. So it's just an ebb and a flow. So if you don't do it, you're going to get devoured. You're going to get eaten up real quick. So you got to fight for yourself.